Okay, what kind of nib is this? I just put this in my pen that has the scratchy. Accountant. Okay, is this going to fit in here? This seems really, really big though. It doesn't want to fit, I don't think. I don't think that one wants to fit. Let's try this one. I was going to go outside today and draw, but it's snowing out, for God's sake. I'm not going to go outside when it's snowing. I don't think. I don't think I'm going to do that. Okay, so this writes better. I really like that accountant nib though. That was in that other pen. This one though seems more suited to my needs. This one's the one that's kind of broken. This is the one that says accountant. And what does this one do? Nice and springy. Is it springier than this one? Do I want to swap it? Yeah, I'll leave this one here. New York City. You know, it is snow. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Okay, this is going to stay in here. This one, stay in there. This one, this is an interesting springy nib. So also went myth. Who are you? I don't remember ever seeing your name here before. Are you someone new to me? Oh, also, are you new to me, or are you have a new name, or is my memory bad, or what? No answer so far. Should I put a sack in this pen? Oh, thank you. What is your first name? By the way. Why is this so scratchy? That's why it was scratchy. Matthew. What kind of pens do you collect? This little sack nipple here looks like it's on its last little gasp. I'll put a sack on it, why not? Let's just put a sack in this pen. Well, do you have more than one pen? If you have more than one pen and you're not ambidextrous, I would have to say that you have a collection of pens anyway. Is everything out of here? Let's pretend everything's out of there. Let's find a sack that'll fit that. Does this fit? This is too fat. Okay, this one will fit. Oh, good. Would you like to show me the pen? I can invite you in and you can join me. Okay, somewhere here I have shellac. I think it's right here. Sack nipple is really jagged. So you said it was unmarked, unbranded. Does the nib write well? Come on, are you going to go in or not? This is a very... Okay, I'll invite you in, Matthew. You want to join me? Click on that link, and you don't have to show your face if you're shy. You can just aim the camera down at your desk. Show us your pen. What kind of nib is this? It's a wool 10-point nib. I'll just keep this in my collection. How about that? Oh dear. I'm sorry about that, Luke. So Matthew, you want to join me? Click on that link and we can show off our pens. This pen I was drawing with, and I took the cap off and only this part of the pen came out. The rest of it was stuck in the cap, so I have it taped together. Just because one day I'll find a barrel to replace that with. Another Eversharp. Can put a sack in this one. Ooh, this is a much more fun nib. Much more expressive. Oh, here's myth and stream. Hello.
Hi.
What you have to do, Matthew, is to turn your YouTube off now because we're getting an echo.
Okay.
So, whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, you have to sign back on, and you're broadcasting through StreamYard, which is through Safari. So once you get on, close your window with you can close your window that has YouTube and just stay on StreamYard, then we won't have an echo.
Does that do it?
I'm hearing a little bit of an echo, and I think I won't if you... Do you have your YouTube open still?
I don't think so.
Okay. So maybe it'll be fine. So that's the pen you bought.
Yeah.
And you don't know what kind it is.
No.
It looks, maybe it's a pen craft or something, but it has a gold nib, you said.
Yeah. It does. I'm just not focus.
And it looks like, according to my beady little eyes, it looks like I saw some calligraphic lettering happening over there.
Yeah. This is with the pen, just practicing.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's, and did you put a sack in the pen?
It was already installed.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, I think I can't tell exactly what kind of pen it is, but it looks like a reputable company based on, I mean, I don't see anything that looks like it's bad. Um, it looks like it's hard rubber, not plastic,
Yeah.
and it kind of looks like a Pencraft pen or a pen made by who knows, who knows. It's actually quite lovely. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah. Watching you with your pens was a big impetus
Oh,
to try an old pen like this out.
you been using new pens?
Yeah, just modern pens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, modern pens won't be nearly as flexible and fun, I don't think. So you made the right choice in going old, and it looks like you made a pretty good choice with that one.
Great. Thanks.
It
Good to know.
it, it seems sort of the nib that you have seems, or the writing that you're doing makes it seem like it's a nib that looks kind of like this, that has sort of a broadish fine line, but a nice flexible um, downstroke.
Let's see if it,
Uh, you did good, I think.
oh, good.
Yay. I mean, there's so many times when you can do not good when you're buying on eBay, and I'm very good at seeing nibs as being much more flexible looking in the pictures than they turn out to be, or the I only after I get the pen do I read the description that says the pen has a big crack in it or something. So
Right. Yeah.
I try now to look at the full description rather than just at the pictures. But again, that one looks like it's pretty good.
Yeah, I just decided to take the plunge. And
Um, it's I mean that nib there probably would do you well for the rest of your life. You may decide later on that you want a pen that has a much fine line at some point, and but I think that looks fine. I can see you're struggling holding the camera in one hand and trying to trying to draw in another. Do you? One of the things that I've done um, with people who are in your position of having to hold is I'll say, get a set of books, 5 or 6 encyclopedias if you have them, stack them up in front of you, and put something, a bent hanger or just a wire hanger between the top 2 books, or put some weight, and then just rest the camera on the wire hanger and aiming down so you have both hands to move the paper and to move, to
mhm.
draw with. So
Yeah.
it's an easy way to make a tripody kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Um, so what do you do in the real world, if I can ask you that?
Oh, I'm a curator.
Oh, of what and where?
Art, and visual art and live art.
At a museum in New York or a gallery?
Yeah, it's a space called the kitchen.
Okay,
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah.
So you do they have a permanent collection of art or just
No.
rotating?
Yeah, no permanent collection. It's more like a alternative space.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing that?
About 16 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I recognize the name, I think, unless was there a kitchen related to Andy Warhol, or am I thinking of something else?
That's the factory.
That's the factory. Okay, well, I knew it was something. It seemed to me that there was, oh, I don't know. Yes, the
Yeah, but
factory.
there's a slight overlap. I mean, the kitchen was founded in 71, and
Okay.
some of as an artist collective originally, and some of the artists in that original scene were connected to Warhol and New Warhol and so forth.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, and where is it located?
Currently it's in Chelsea. It's been in Chelsea since the mid 80s, but it was
Okay.
originally in Soho.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
So you're a native New Yorkerian?
More or less. I'm from New Jersey originally.
Okay, well, it's close enough.
Yeah.
I mean, New Yorkers might not say that, but
Right.
from Minnesota, I can say that. Or even from Boston, where I live now, I can say that you're. I mean, when you're in a, not to say there's anything wrong with New Jersey, but it seems to me that New York. It seems to me in many ways that New Jersey is like a suburb of New York,
Yeah.
New
Yeah.
York City, whereas Boston and Somerville is a suburb of Boston, and where I live, and um, but somehow a place like Providence, Rhode Island, seems all by itself. It's not a suburb of anything. maybe
Yeah.
maybe because it was a vacation spot of the New Yorkers and the Bostonians, but cool. Um, well, you've got a lot of options in New York probably to find vintage pens without having to go online and risk it.
Yeah, I don't know too much about that yet.
I know the Fountain Pen Hospital probably has some for sale in their store, though the ones they sell, I know that I buy pens that they can't sell or they think they can't sell in New York, and they go to pen shows in New Jersey, in Philadelphia. I go to that one usually.
Yeah,
And
that was my first pen show. I went to
Philly this
yeah,
last this
the
last
last
year.
one. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't go because of COVID. I just thought, why I've been lucky so far because I've been careful, I guess. And I thought
Yeah.
going on a bus for 6 hours
Yeah.
or a plane or anything else would be risking it. So I decided not to go. But at the Philadelphia Pen Show, the Fountain Pen Hospital brings baggies full of pens, and they're usually priced. They're like $50 a baggie,
Mm.
and the baggie might have 1.5 gold nibbed pens in it, and then maybe some pens that are missing nibs, and maybe some pens that are missing a cap. But they're usually very carefully packaged so that you have to think about spending the $50. It's not entirely a no-brainer. You have to sort of ponder, and I look at every piece that's there thinking, okay, this is worth $1 to me. This is worth $10 to me. This is worth $40. Okay, so I'm almost to the $50
Right.
goal. But in those baggies, they would have a pen like this,
Mm.
which has this big, I don't know if you can see, this big scratched out area where someone took a jackknife and obliterated the name that was engraved on it
Mm.
from the original
I
owner.
have to figure out how to see your screen and my screen at the same
Oh,
time.
that's kind of hard to do.
Yeah.
But imagine taking a sharp steak knife and rubbing it back and forth on the barrel of a pen, and it's very nasty uh, looking. But and that the person that did that wanted to obliterate the original name that had been engraved on the pen,
Mm.
and whether that was their abusive father's name or whether that was their husband's name and the wife, got rid of the husband but kept the pen and crossed his name off. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that doesn't interfere with the way the pen writes. But I can see why a retailer who's spending thousands of dollars per square inch a month New York rent wouldn't have a pen like this in their display case.
Yeah.
Uh,
I've heard. I like what you say about or like I would also like to see the ones with names on them, and
yeah,
wouldn't mind that.
yeah, the names are nice.
Yeah.
The crossed out ones are less nice, but the
Yeah.
and the crossed out ones. I mean, this was this was in a drawer over here, and I thought, well, gee, it has a sack in it. It's working. Why? And I filled it up with ink, and I wrote with it, and I thought this is really nice. I'm surprised this was in my sale bin, and I realized later when the light hit it the right way that the name had been crossed out, which is probably why I put it over there originally. But I don't care about that, so I'm keeping it for now um, until I find someone that um, deserves the pen and doesn't mind that crossed out bit. But um, uh, it's really quite nice. But I can understand why Fountain Pen Hospital doesn't want to waste real estate on pens that they have to sell for cheaper, and they're also selling modern pens that cost many hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So I can understand too why they may not want to have a pen that they're selling for less than 100, you know,
Yeah.
especially if that pen writes better than the one that they're selling to for $1,000.
Yeah. I'm aware of them, but I haven't visited their shop yet.
Um, yeah, well, you might be able to find some pens that at least you can try out. You might say, "Gee, I really love this wall equipoise pen or whatever they might have," and you'll know to look for one or how
Yeah.
to try one. Um, so, do you do calligraphy, or are you just learning that, or do you?
I think I'm just learning that. I was trying to figure that out last night, actually, while I was playing with this pen.
Yeah.
Thinking of like your distinction of like, are you a drawer or are you a calligrapher? And I think I arrived at I'm learning calligraphy because
Okay.
although I work with art and I've tried to make visual art myself at different points in my childhood and so forth, I think it's pretty clear that that's not my calling.
Okay. But
I am a musician, but
okay,
not drawing.
you don't have to. You don't have to do calligraphy, obviously, to write with a pen. But do you write normally in your job or your for fun? Do you take notes with pens or do
Yeah,
you
I
write?
do. I do. I definitely use it for that, for
Okay.
uh, planners
Okay.
and
Oh, good.
all that kind of thing. But I have been enjoying handwriting.
Okay.
Yeah, and
You should if you're on Instagram, you should. Are you on Instagram?
I am. Yeah.
Okay. There's a person I follow who has been a guest on my program here a couple of times. He didn't buy any pens from me. I sent him a bunch of pens, and I thought he'd be wowed by them, but he was unwowed by every single one of them. His name is Minimal Scholar,
Okay.
MNML Scholar, SCH. I don't think there's a vowel in his thing, but I'll
Got
find
it.
it in a second. But he writes, he's all about writing and footnoting and making one draft and another draft, and he uses his many pens filled with many different kinds of inks and have many different kinds of points that to do different kinds of writing. And he's very neat and he should work for NASA. He's so exacting in what he does, and the logic is so amazing, very unlike how I write. But I think you might get a kick out of seeing his journal keeping. He's a teacher in, I think, high school, but he sort of teaches topics that I would have thought would have been more college era.
Right.
They're a little bit more specifically aimed than I remember my high school being.
I'll check him out.
But let me just find his thing here. This is
Like,
he's also a New Jerseyan, if that's what you call yourselves. Meanwhile, my cat is now yammering at me, saying, "Oh, woe is me, MNML." Okay. A recovering paperless scholar with newfound love for journal stationery and fountain pens. So his writing, he'll use certain kinds of inks and certain pen nibs to do different kinds of lettering, and he loves footnotes and making footnotes of footnotes. And so anyway, he'll use one ink and one pen to take notes on a book, and then, or something he's read, and then he'll add his own thoughts with a different color ink, and then he'll add secondary thoughts or other people's ideas in a different kind of ink. So it's very, very organized.
I'll check that out.
Minimal scholar.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else can I tell you? I was just trying to come up with a sort of a calligraphy lesson that, or not so much calligraphy, but just how to use a pen lesson to folks. And it's just how to make the finest line you possibly can with a pen nib, which is almost lifting the pen off the page. Even the weight of the pen might be too much. So
yeah, I was struck with how light this pen is.
Yeah, the older pens are light. They don't have metal, and most modern pens or many of them are metal and enameled and covered with some sort of various other metals or plastics, but the base is metal, I guess. And so the older pens will seem very light. Let's see, any other hints I could give you about that? You're using moleskin or rhodia or what?
This is rhodia, but I have Tomoe River here too, and
Okay.
other scrap paper. It's my first lever filled pen, so I'm uh, figuring that out. I mean, it worked fine right off the bat,
Yeah.
but eventually I'll have to figure out how to deal with
Well, you
the
pull the
sack
lever,
and all
you
that
pull
stuff.
the lever out. You shouldn't ever have to take the pen apart
Oh, good.
unless you're changing ink colors and want to have every drop of old ink out. But
Right.
um, pull the lever out perpendicular to the pen because that's how you squeeze the sack. You don't have to go all the way to the front. Just go like that, and then put it back in, and then count to 3 and take it out of the ink. So
Yeah. Yeah. That worked. This is
and
ink that I put in it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and just you'll know that if you do this, move your hand at all fast, you're going to get ink falling out of the pen onto the page. So learn not to do that. Modern pens are not as wet at the front end as older ones,
Mm.
because an old pen, if it's going to make a flexible line like this, has to have ink up there. And modern pens that aren't flexible don't have to. So they're stingier with their ink flow. So, and are you a pen poster? Put the cap on the back.
Yeah, I don't have strong feelings about that.
Um, it's an easy way to keep them together.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have a desk like mine where there's 20 pens on the desk, many of them might have their cap posted, but if I didn't, I would forget which cap goes where. And so I think posting is always a good idea, but I
Yeah,
know
I
that
think
there
I
are
was
some people that don't
posting
do it.
I think I was posting this pen just to have a little bit more weight
Uh-huh.
and feel the pen tipping backwards a little bit. I kind of
Yeah,
like how the weight on the
shifted. Yeah.
index finger helps keep
Uh-huh.
pressure somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. It is interesting to write with the pen posted and then write with it unposted, and you'll see you should be able, if you're sensitive, you should be able to immediately sense differences in how you're writing with it, and you may end up really liking that extra bit of weight on the back of the pen. Um, Sometimes there are pens that I kind of enjoy writing when they're not posted, and it's just because I don't know why I might be in that kind of a mood, I guess. Like there's
Mm.
a pen like this, it's very short, and um, sometimes I really sort of enjoy having it entirely inside of my claw of a hand. Uh, and I don't normally go into that. I don't normally have that mood.
Mm.
It must be the mother in me or something wanting to protect the the child. Um, but it's all very fascinating how different they are and which direction you're going to be aiming
Hmm.
in if you continue in this hobby.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but one thing you will notice is every vintage pen you buy will be so different from the one you bought before.
Yeah, I'm
There's
definitely getting that from the content that you put out, and it's kind of refreshing to know
yeah.
that nothing's guaranteed. You just sort of have to go for it and see what the pen
Well,
does.
you have to go for it, and if a pen is if there's nothing wrong with the pen, if there's not a chip out of the iridium or something, um, and you might your first initial response might be, oh, I don't like this pen because it's too fine, or I don't like this pen because it's too broad, or this is too firm, it's not flexible enough, or whatever your initial rejection of this pen might be. um, Take a day, fill it up with ink, and take a day and write with it. And chances are you will learn something about that pen nib that you initially didn't know. And you might end up hating it all the more if you really don't like it. But chances are, by trying it out and allowing the pen to tell you what to do, rather than you wanting it to be something it can't be, if you let it be what it wants to be, chances are it will convince you of its value. And you might say, okay, I get it now, and throw it in the drawer and never look at it again. But I have a feeling that you would end up liking it.
Yeah, I think that's a plan for today, is just to write more with it and try and figure out its personality, as you say.
Well, the personality of your pen, I mean, certainly it looks like it would be a joy to use. It probably has or will end up having a sweet spot with a particular kind of lettering you do. Maybe it won't like taking notes. Maybe uh, it won't write fast enough for you, or you might find that it's too distracting to you to want to be calligraphic, and you're spending too much time making curlicues when you should be taking notes. But it'll teach you things, and then the next time you buy a pen online, you know a nice opposite pen for you would be a pen like this, a Triumph Nib Schaefer, that isn't flexible at all, and is probably going to be firm, maybe would have an extra fine point. That might be a nice counterpart to the one that you have.
Yeah.
And when you have both of them at your desk, you will end up liking them all the more for their particular desire interests. Uh-oh, you have a Schaefer cartridge pen, it looks like.
Yeah, this is the other older pen that I bought online, and it's a super fine, firm nib. There's a Q-tip there to keep the cartridge in place. But I haven't. It's totally different than this, and I do enjoy note taking with this. It's very
well. The cartridge pens with steel nibs. They're probably the nib itself may not be tipped with a good tipping material. So you may end up finding out that it's a little scratchier than you like.
Yeah.
But it may be okay. I'm not going to say that it won't be good for you, but well, this was fun. Well, Matthew, and you're I'm trying to see what you're also went myth. Also went myth. Okay. I'm gonna head out for the day, or for part of the day. I'll probably be back. It's snowing out, so
yeah,
I
same
was gonna
here.
go outside and draw, but that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But thanks for joining me, and see if you can find a wire hanger and a couple of books and make yourself a thing, so you don't have to. Do you have an iPad, by the way?
No.
Okay. You're using an iPhone or some device.
Yeah.
Okay. What if here's the side view of your desk, here you are, here's your hand. If you have like 6 Encyclopedia Britannicas or something, and then stick your hanger, and then add another couple of books on top to make it not fall off. You just set the phone on the wire of the hanger just to keep it level and aiming down, and then you'll be able to see, if you put it in the right location, you can see what you're doing as well as see the paper that you're writing on. So you can join in the fun a little bit better without
Yeah.
needing both hands.
Yeah.
Okay, very
Nice
good.
talking with you.
Nice talking with you. Bye-bye.
Bye.